Alright, so in this video I am gonna go over my 1 month with the M2 iPad Air and my thoughts, my impressions, good, bad, everything in between. The first thing about the iPad Air is the screen size. I love the screen size. I got the 13-inch iPad Air. I didn't want to go for the 11-inch because 13 just fits my needs better. I prefer a bigger screen, and if I'm going to be drawing a lot, I want a bigger screen to draw on. 11-inch probably would be good for portability, but this is 13-inch, and I'll be drawing at my desk a lot and carrying it around the house and drawing. Let's start with the cons. The problems that I've had with this iPad. Actually, the problems with this iPad surprised me. I didn't expect some of them. And the first one is, whenever I am drawing, it doesn't matter what. Okay, so today, when I was drawing these, the iPad actually did not have the heating issue that it's been having. I've noticed that whenever I'm doing certain drawings, like this one, for example, it would get really hot. Specifically right around the camera and the pen, where the pen sits. So right back here above the logo. Sometimes I'll be holding the iPad and drawing on the couch, and the heat kind of can bother me a little bit while I'm drawing. Another thing that tends to happen whenever it gets hot is the screen brightness will actually go down, and it will not go back up until it cools down. So for example, I have the brightness at max. Let's just say I'm drawing at max. Sometimes I have it that bright because I like a bright screen, especially when I'm sitting in the living room and trying to draw. It'll get hot, and then it'll bump down to like 3/4 brightness, and then it'll go good for a little bit, maybe 5 minutes, and then it'll drop down to about half brightness. And that can get very frustrating for me. Again, I like a bright screen, so with it being at half brightness, that really kind of can annoy me. I can deal with it, but it does get a little bit annoying, and it doesn't seem to cause any performance issues with the app I'm using, so that's actually really good. I would prefer the way it is. Like the way it is now, I prefer it like that, but if possible, I prefer it to just not overheat in general. Another issue that I seem to be having with this is the Apple Pencil Pro seems to disconnect while I'm drawing on the iPad. I don't understand why. I'll just be in the middle of drawing and it'll just disconnect and it won't connect back. It's just unresponsive. Sometimes I can turn the Bluetooth off on it and then turn it back on. It'll connect, and sometimes it doesn't, and I just have to turn the entire iPad off and then turn it back on, and that has always fixed the issue. But it is like a little annoyance with the iPad. But really, these things are not deal breakers for me. The pros definitely outweigh the cons. These are really the only two cons I have with this device. Besides the price, these things are expensive. I paid like $1,200 for this, and this is like the base model, 128 gigabytes of memory, because let's be honest, I'm an artist. I don't have a lot of money, so I just got the minimum of what I could for what I was looking for. And again, in another video, we went over why I went with the new M2 iPad Air versus like an older Pro model. You can go watch that video if you want to know why. I'll link it right here. Let's get on to the pros. Now, the pros are very nice, actually. Like, it's very snappy overall. I mean, this thing is snappy. I haven't noticed any slowdown, even in the most demanding of drawings that I've done. Like this one, it's only grayscale, but you can see I have 26 layers here in total. Actually, it might be a little bit more than that. No slowdown, and this is in 12 by 18 inches at 300 dpi, so it's a fairly high resolution file. And I'm also, on top of that, recording the time lapse. And then even sometimes on top of that, I will actually screen record. So it'll be screen recording while recording in the app, while having all these layers at a high resolution, and there's absolutely no slowdown. I noticed nothing, no lag at all, and it works great. So the speed, very good. Another pro of this iPad is actually the Apple Pencil Pro. I love this thing. The pencil is so nice. Like, I think it has only 4,000 pressure sensitivity levels, but like honestly, that feels like the same pressure sensitivity as the 8,000 pressure sensitivity levels that I have on my desk setup with the actual drawing tablet and things like that. So it feels the same as that. Like, I don't notice a difference in the pressure sensitivity. Really good stuff there. I was actually surprised because whenever I use an Android device, and they have the same pressure sensitivity as the Apple Pencil Pro does, but the way it's handled there, it doesn't really feel like I get all those pressure sensitivity levels. I don't know what it is. I've tried adjusting the sensitivity and everything, and it still has the same issues. So, Apple Pencil Pro, those pressure sensitivity levels, oh, I love it. Another thing that I love about this iPad is, like, it charges so fast. The iPad can be at, like, 30%, 40%. I'll drop it in the charger. I'll pop the charger in there. I'll go do a couple things around the house, take a little break, watch a YouTube video, maybe make me a snack, and come back. This thing is already at 100%. It charges fast. And this is just, I'm using a 45-watt charger with it. It's not the one that was in the box. I'm not familiar with what they put in the box. I don't know how fast that charger is, but I'm using my Steam Deck charger on this. If you have a Steam Deck, use that charger. Charges it very fast, about an hour, and it'll be fully charged. Let's talk about the screen. I think that it's actually HDR, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think they say it's HDR with, like, the color gamut and the accuracy and all that. It's only an LCD screen, so you're not going to get those, like, that crazy contrast level that HDR would give you. But the screen, very good. The colors, the color accuracy, I love it. I love that I can know that everything on here is accurate that I'm seeing. If I draw that on this device, if I draw that color on this screen, that same color is going to appear on my phone. It's going to appear on my monitor, my TV. And if I print it out, I haven't tested it yet, but if I print it out, it'll be pretty close to the same color. Really like that. I was thinking about getting a very, like, color accurate screen before getting this iPad, but the iPad kind of fixed all the issues I was needing fixed all in one device. So I just went with the iPad. Eventually, when I can get the funds, I will definitely go for, like, very, like, color accurate screens with all of that, the tech stuff that I'm not super familiar with at the moment with screens. Another thing with the iPad Air, now this is a con, I forgot to mention it, but since we're on the topic of screens, it is only 60 hertz, but for me, that is not a problem. When it comes to drawing, 60 hertz is perfectly fine. It's like the standard right now. Like, I think Wacom's new devices, their new Pro devices, which are, like, at minimum $2,500, you're still paying like $1,000 more. Those come with, like, 120 hertz, or you can buy the iPad Pro, 120 hertz. But the new Pro, there is a reason why I didn't go for the Pro, and it's because of that screen. And you'll have to just check out that other video because I explain why I did not go with the Pro in that video as well. But yeah, the hertz of this is only 60. I don't really notice it when I'm drawing because Apple does, like, a predictive thing with their Apple Pencil. It kind of predicts where you're going with it, and so it goes slightly ahead. It's very accurate from what I've noticed. I haven't noticed any kind of weirdness with the lines, so it makes it feel more responsive than the screen actually is. So there's not an issue there. If you're going to be gaming, you might notice it. So let's get on to the volume and stuff. I don't really mess with that. I don't really watch a whole lot of content on here. I have, and it's very rare, but I have watched content a little bit. And the speakers are okay. They're not going to blow you away. They're fine. They get the job done, and the screen, whenever you're watching that content, looks good enough. It looks great. I love the color accuracy again. But you're not going to be mind blown by the HDR, the popping, or anything like that. It's just a good screen overall. It's not going to blow you away, but it is good enough to be color accurate. And again, that is the most important thing to me. Yeah, and honestly, I think that might be it for this video. I mean, I've really only drew on this iPad. That's about the only thing I use it for is drawing. So my drawing experience overall is very positive. I absolutely love this thing, and I'm gonna be doing, like, a majority of my art on it for the time being. Really, I don't have many complaints besides what we already went over, and those things are not deal breaking for me. Pros definitely outweigh the cons, and compared to an Android tablet drawing experience, just blows it away. Really loving this iPad. Let me know your thoughts. Do you have an iPad? Do you draw? Like, what do you draw on? Do you use a screenless tablet with a screen? Do you use Huion, Wacom, XP Pen? What do you use? I use the iPad and Procreate.